call. Commissioner Paul?
Present.
Commissioner Martin? Present. Commissioner Smith?
Present.
Attorney Romano?
Present.
Lieutenant Howard?
Present.
Okay, we don't have any minutes for this meeting. For the next Monday? So then we have number of one-day licenses. First one be in the Lynn Museum for May 21st. It's a fundraiser. It's an arts group from 6 to 11 in the courtyard. And we have the Kip Academy, May 25th, 6 to 8 p.m. school cafeteria. And another one day, 40 Steps Dance, Arts, Cultural Education Organization. For June 5th, they're going to have an indoor premiere reception from 3 to 5. We have Kingsland Resident Council for a fundraiser for a painting party for June 15th from 7 to 9 at Westville High up in Kingsland. And then we have two more, Center Board for June 10th, an art opening from 6 to 10. And the Downtown Lynn Cultural District, the non-profit, for Saturday, June 11th, a music art festival from 1 to 7 p.m. Exchange Street.
Yes. Make a motion that we approve all one-day licenses and waive the fees for the non-profits.
All in favor? Aye. We have 3 common visual licenses. First being Kennedy Chicken, will be open in 252 Western Avenue. Anyone here from Kennedy Chicken? We will go back to later. So we have Antojitos Restaurant. Antojitos, 665 Western Avenue. Hi, how are you? Good. Okay. And the hours are going to be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. 7 days a week, huh? Yeah. And what will you be serving? Seating 14, no entertainment, no radio, no TV, anything. Anybody else have any questions?
Sure, it's fine. That is.
All in favor? Aye. Good luck. Yeah, I'll do this. Thank you. Thank you. Then we have 38 Grill Restaurant, 38 Bennett Street, in Long Distance, Polanco, and Pedro. Right here from 38 Grill Restaurant. Hold that. Moving right along. Okay, we have a change of manager for Lazy Boy Sports. From Estelldale to Thomasville. How do you know? Everything was in order.
Yeah, everything was in order. Perhaps to exact something. I did.
I'll see you. All in favor? Aye. And you may as well stay here for a moment. Next we have TE Pub, JD Sports Bar at 158 Lewis Street, for change of manager from Thomas Dill to Christopher Lazinski. Okay.
Again, everything's fine. I know, Chris, you've been down there for a couple of years now, correct? Yeah. Stupid question, but you are tip certified, of course.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, Madam Chair, everything looked fine to me.
We looked into it today as well. Any questions? Original cover to you?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else? Okay. Then we have a transfer of license, Linway Lounge.
Will you?
How you doing?
Pass the time.
Transfer of the license to Conca Lounge. Restaurant. How you doing?
I represent the transferee.
Okay.
This association provider, this
Right.
Bernice and Alliance. These are the principals of the new entity, and Mr. Miles is here with the former license.
Okay.
These folks are all tip certified. They intend to use the entire location. I think we submitted 4 from them. As I understand it, the kitchen's going to be open from 11 to 1. Yeah, 11 to 1. They're going to serve Hispanic food. These folks are going to be hands-on in their operation. They hope to, as I said, make some improvements in the present layout and operate. If you have a recollection of how this was before, it was sort of like a window, it's a reference to Shakespeare, Paramus and Thisbe, through the wall. Former vice principal.
Yes.
But they used to pass food that could have used the whole premises. I want to make understood. I talked to the principals of the landlord, who they treated it as all one entity, no matter how they were, the people who rented it dealt with it. So that is, I think, somewhat different than the way RBL did it. But other than that, it would be similar in its scope and magnitude, but it would be a restaurant.
So we sit down meal.
Is this what it's gonna look like?
Yes, that's what it's going to.
Yeah, the essential difference, as I say, is using, it had a number 168, 170.
Yeah.
The lease is really to 168, 170. Prior people have sort of done like a sub shop or something on the 168 side, which is sort of, they're looking at it to the left. And that's when they had this window to pass through, because they had one kitchen. But they intend to make
Are we
those
clear on
changes.
what the occupancy is going to be?
I think we will be clear on that. Okay. I don't have that number. I just did want to interrupt.
It says here 120, would that be the capacity?
Excuse me?
120 people?
It's 320 on the plan.
Yeah.
Plan that you proposed, you get some crazy number of 320.
Well, it had 190 when it was on one side of the 170 side, I think.
Yeah, it says here 120 on the papers.
Well, I have the prior application as well.
We'll need to get a copy of the occupancy from, I guess.
Yeah,
We'll get the occupancy from,
on
yeah,
the sketch.
sketch.
Right.
Yeah, that one says 120, but the
This
sketch
sketch
says
says
320.
320,
So we'll
I
just
just wanna
make
be
sure we have
clear.
something from inspectional services.
Yeah, you have to get-
And that's what we have to go by,
Yeah,
exactly.
even after you act, the ABC acts.
Exactly.
Before Debbie will give you the license, you're gonna
Right.
have the certificate of inspection from and occupancy from the building department.
And this still has to be in front of the ABCC. We still have a ways to go. But,
On the
Okay.
financing, so they put down 3,300 cash and the amount of finance was 0, but the total sale was 330.
And there's an appraisal for a house that's worth $240,000 and more that's gonna be deeded. It's Spanish and English cows in the Dominican. The appraisal was part of the application.
Doesn't say anything in finance.
Excuse me?
Doesn't say anything in finance, though.
Because they own the house. These people own the house. So it's their house.
Transferring over there, right? Transferring.
But I saw that
Yeah.
it was going to be dedicated.
I think we had the address, an appraisal from the Dominican, and a copy of the deed.
Attorney Minor, you had a chance to go through this. Did everything look in order to you as far as finances are concerned? Yeah. I have a ways to go. It has to be approved by the ABCC after. We can vote to approve it based upon the ABCC's.
Yeah, that's why I did those
Exactly.
affidavits.
Yeah.
I always tell people to tell the truth.
Yes.
You'd be amazed at how
Okay.
many people say.
Okay. Okay. And I appreciate that.
To
Was
give
in
you a real life
because it-
example, I said, why don't I see a license? Well, my license was suspended. What do you mean your license was suspended? He answered the question this way.
Yeah.
Then I dug in.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that too, because it gave us an opportunity to.
Yeah, and I would say, given the nature of those offenses, sometimes the ABCC will on its own hold a hearing as to the character of the individuals or the suitability. They look with great disfavor on gaming and drugs. But I've had people with other kinds of similar offenses. And it's their call whether they want to bring them in.
Okay.
But usually that's what they're looking for. You get a certified copy of court records and what the disposition was. So we sort of try to be proactive and do it, knowing that when you read that question and you look at that document, that could be a matter of concern.
Appreciate it. Good. Any other questions?
I would just defer.
I just have a question. We list the hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
1 a.m.
I'm sorry, 1 a.m., I'm sorry. And what time would we be serving food till? What time is the kitchen going to be?
Until 1, so an hour before the closing.
So there's no plan to finish serving early and then have the rest of the time for, for dancing or whatever?
Well, theoretically, you would have it, we would close the kitchen like an hour before the actual last call, so whatever.
Okay, so you would plan on having the kitchen open right to an hour before last call?
Yeah, I don't have people that are after that because they kept off, they come out.
Right.
Their food, they're unhappy.
Right.
That's gonna be a nightclub, not a restaurant.
So is
That's
it,
a question.
is it gonna be a restaurant?
Yes.
So it could be a restaurant with
It says all three.
They're not-
It says it's going to be all three. It says it's going to be a restaurant, nightclub, bar, lounge. That's what it says. I mean, it's in here, black and white. That's going to be all three, so. I'll be very upfront with you. We would definitely be looking for it to be a restaurant.
Oh, that's what
Okay,
they're
okay.
looking for.
Mhm, yeah. And that means tables, chairs, sit down,
Yeah,
knives,
one of
forks,
the, we'll have tables,
meal.
chairs,
Yeah.
meals.
Mhm. Okay. So, I say, I think things are in order right here.
It
and,
is in order.
Yeah.
It is in order.
Based on the papers that we have.
Yeah.
in us, it
Yeah.
has to be okay.
I can see approving the transfer based upon the final decision of the ABCC.
Okay. I'll make that motion to approve the transfer.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
She's nervous as a cat.
Exactly.
hopefully this obviously.
Exactly, it does. Thank you very
I
much.
just want to resolve, we had to get that appraisal from the Dominican, had to get it translated. So it's upset our timetable, but that's not their fault.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Chairperson, we don't have.
That's fine. Because now we know what they're doing with their licensing transfers, so we're done. We're done,
They
yeah.
served them, they changed locks.
Yep.
No, that was the other place.
No, that's the other place.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry.
All right, so then we have, okay, we have a conference with, yeah. I should have taken things out of order, sorry about that. I had you up here and we just should have.
Actually, the wording of bringing in it,
Worked out for you?
yes.
Okay. Well, that-
I'll speak to the young man.
He's throwing you under the bus, it's only been 5 minutes.
I explained to Mr. Bill that this was a conference.
Excuse me, were you the
Conference
manager on March 11th?
Right.
Part of the reason that those earlier things occurred is, and I didn't hear Tom when he talked about the change, but let's deal first with the report. The report acknowledges that the call came from the staff. The staff cooperated with the police, identified the individual because apparently the individual was known to them, and one of the things that Tom said to me, because these are sort of like two ships passing in the night, is that he had wanted to get hands-on, and so he was going to put Chris in, who had worked at the police. And he was going to focus on Lazy Dog, Chris was going to focus there, and that was because it's not wise to be running between places. So he had planned on doing that, and this came along, and I think the conference is about a lack of management and control. And I said to him, it seemed to me that what the staff did was appropriate. The woman didn't want medical assistance, but they did call the police to cooperate. They did intervene. Apparently, this is an altercation where, as I understand it from them, is a guy offered to buy a round of drinks, okay? And he took offense at what somebody said when they said, thank you, in a way that was offensive, okay? And that, it went from that to this, okay? But the staff of this individual who was injured, they tried to intervene and calm people down, and then this guy just went nuts. And I think the police report subsequently described some of his other problems, that he was intoxicated or whatever. But as far as management and control, I think the people who were there did what would be expected, and B, going forward, Tom has signed that responsibility to this gentleman, and he's going to take on the Lazy Dog because he's acknowledging that you need to be hands-on, and especially when you have that kind of a business.
Okay. Because it does appear that there was perhaps over-serving going on.
Well, you know what happened, this gentleman was there earlier, he had left, he was gone quite some time. When he came back, she didn't serve him, but she let him stay because he'd been in it early and she knew him. He had been gone for quite some time, hadn't been served when he came back, but he stayed there.
Yeah,
He wanted to buy a round for it.
yeah.
So he had been, I don't know where he got what he got, but there was, there's other things in play that he's.
Okay, so I think basically what we really want to say to you is just be careful with over-serving. If somebody appears to be intoxicated,
And that's why she
kick them
did
out.
what she
You
did.
know, I mean, really, don't even let them buy
Absolutely.
around, yeah.
And she did the right thing, she didn't serve him because he
Yeah.
came and she said, something's not right with this guy.
Okay.
He was a big giant man, and she was scared of him.
Yeah, I think she says that.
No, I agree, procedure was followed. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just add to it, and I understand what didn't indicate that he was served. I'm glad to hear that people have told you he wasn't served. I was going to ask you that.
Right.
If you had staff there that was appropriate enough to ask him to leave, and he was recognized coming in, clearly, we don't want this guy here, he's
Right.
intoxicated. You probably should have asked him to leave.
Right.
Because what I would point out is that the description of the assault in here, and some of the statements by your own staff are that they felt an imminent fear of serious injury. So this is a bad case, I mean, it's a bad situation. Had this guy decided to get more physical when the staff there was one volunteer woman and your bartender. I mean, that's just listed. So, real dangerous situation, thankfully, no one really got hurt, so that's really.
Yeah, you know what it was, they'd already given last call, everything, stools were up, he just picked one up and it wasn't, I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but it was.
Absolutely.
He just got angry and.
Yeah.
To a small stool, not a big stand-up one.
Okay, good to know we're all on the same page. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And good luck.
Good luck, yeah.
Can I have a motion?
Except for the finals.
It's without a fine. Well, it's just a conference.
Conference anyways, yeah.
Okay. And we have another conference, Dragon Inn Restaurant, and here's from Dragon Heights. How you doing? Good, thanks for coming in. And we just want to talk to you about the heroin episode in your bathroom. We want to make sure that your bathrooms are clearly posted, that they're for patrons only.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a sign out now.
Okay.
Okay. That's what's for customers only.
Have you seen this one before? Does she usually come in? Yeah.
So she was a new client. She came in and bought her one, she went to the back of Westwood.
Oh, she bought something?
She bought something.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
Westwood for like 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And the sheriff came out. So Mr. George went out the door.
Yeah.
And the light came on. So we decided, please.
Thank you. Very good. Very, very, very good. 'Cause it is a problem, as you're well aware of. Lieutenant, you have anything?
Yeah, I would just say, I want to make sure that we're clear that they're not talking about the last overdose that's going to be read into the record tonight, because that's probably the most recent in their recollection. There's an overdose that just occurred, and this is going to be read in,
Okay.
but this one occurred in March, when we're talking about. I don't know if the patron actually ordered food, but having said that, I spoke with the owner the other day. I think they're aware of it. It's pretty hard for businesses to watch everything. Somebody gets in the bathroom. So please do your best. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And also the area also where it's staying.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
This particular incident drew a lot of exposure due to the fact that this is a girl from Gloucester, and there've been stories in the papers and everything about different treatments. And again, it shows Lynn in the light of, wow, it just happened to be an incident of a business. And so we really want to do our best.
Right. Sure. Right, because I'm reading it again, and it does say that she came in to ask to use the restroom.
You know?
If they're not a patron, they're not buying anything, absolutely, just tell them no. Tell them no, you know, really, yeah.
All right, so we get a motion to accept the file?
Yeah, we'll just accept it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, okay, and the hearing for the Linway Lounge is unnecessary. Yeah. Okay, so then, anyone here from Lo Nuestro? Well,
Mr. Crowley is here tonight.
they're here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, that's why I'm here. Don't leave me back. Okay. So anyone here from Lo Nuestro?
There is communication from the attorney
Okay.
that owns the property.
All right, I do not have that, do you? Could you?
Oh,
No?
There's communication from the attorney, but we don't.
Wait a minute, let me double check. Right after the last one. Under communications. Gotcha. So sorry. I haven't gotten to that part of the agenda yet.
We should have it, I saw it.
Okay.
okay, yeah.
All right, I'm so sorry. All right, so this is to confirm that as counsel for the trust, I have served an eviction notice upon the prior tenant, Lo Nuestro Cafe Inc. And my client has taken unopposed possession of the premises and has changed the locks as of April 4th. It is my opinion that any liquor license that was owned by the prior occupant no longer is in force or effect. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I think that says it all. Exactly. Exactly. They didn't show up, so without a doubt. Yep.
Right.
Just need a motion to
Okay, a
revoke.
motion to revoke their license effective immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we have a hearing, continued hearing for Eclipse Bar and Grill. Put this away. Okay. You still closed? It's still closed?
They served a 7-day suspension.
Okay.
They picked up the license. Since we were here last, we had a hearing with respect to installation of sprinklers in a fine. The owners, you know, Mr. Salvani, he's the owner of the property. He's worked with Roger in Minnesota building department, and he tells me tonight, and I think he's going to tell you that he's prepared to hire at his expense an architect to try to determine what the number is. I think in dealing with Roger, it's a question of a handicapped bathroom, as I understand it, and that there's no physical way to increase the number unless the bathrooms get changed. And the problem with the bathrooms is that if they wanted to make the modification that they did, they'd be violating the architectural barriers regulations. So it was suggested that they appeal, and I think, as I understand it, they're going to, and Roger's going to work with them, to appeal to the Architectural Barriers Board, because for what they call a variance, to allow the bathrooms to be changed but not meet the requirement to have one that's large enough to be considered handicapped. The other alternative I suggested to them is, I believe that my understanding is that we can have what's called a unisex bathroom, and that doesn't require necessarily a variance. But to go to the Architectural Barriers Board, they're going to give great credence to the building department and to the physical layout. And as I understand it from Gary, he's prepared to hire an architect to do the calculations based on the square footage and the number of bathrooms. That would be going forward, and I think you want to...
Sure, if I may. Basically, when I had put the business up for sale, I had 3 parties that had come to me with interest in purchasing the business. I was the last owner, failed venture. So it was, kind of an important thing for me to move it along into the next party's hands, if you will, because I'm going without rent and, incurring expenses on a, all the daily basis. So when Victor came to me, essentially I did an interview process with him to find out the kind of person that he is, okay? And I selected him to, be the owner of the property. He's got a lot of integrity. He's a hardworking guy. He works full-time in addition to owning this business. He wants to own a successful business in the city of Lynn, okay? What's happened, the last time I was here before you for the license transfer, we walked out of here with an occupancy number of 65. And I, immediately said, geez guys, that number is, not right to me. I said, you got to work on fixing that. I know his financial obligation to me on a monthly basis to have 65 people, including staff. It was an ill-fated venture from the get-go. If that was going to be the stipulation, that he was to only be allowed a maximum of 65 people. Okay, I'm not here to defend, overcrowding and whatnot. That's not for me to say. I know that the previous owners, George Jakutis, who owned the business for 15 years, and he was never called before the board for any type of infraction in those 15 years that he owned the business. He ran a clean business. That was my father's choice to put him in there. Same thing, went through an interview process, turned some people aside, and arrived with George to be the tenant at that time. Coincidentally, when I ran it, George was my manager, and I filled out all of the paperwork, all of the applications for licensure, permits, etc. Specifically, I filled them out myself with George's guidance. That we had a seating capacity of 65, physical seats 65, and an occupancy of 99. I remember writing that on paperwork myself. it's a fact. I did that, and unfortunately, I've been talking with Roger. There's nothing here that backs me up, okay? George, and then when George had sold the place to Sky Billy, same thing. They had 99 as the number. Now, I have some paperwork from my attorney, Jimmy Moore, who, when I had filled out my application for alcoholic beverage license, within the body of this, it shows, 85 is an occupancy number, okay? 65, you can't run that type of an establishment with a seating capacity of 65. The numbers, I've talked with Roger kind of unofficially, and whatever the formula is per the 1,430 odd square feet that are on the property, we agree that the occupancy number should be somewhere north of 65. It's 80, 85, is it 88? Don't know what the number is because we've never put pen to paper to actually get an exact calculation because you have to figure in furniture and whatnot. But, Victor was hamstrung right from the get-go with that number of 65. I believe in him so much so, I know, he's there to do the right thing. He's not going to overserve people. He's not there to allow, illegal things to go on in the premises. I wouldn't allow it myself. It's my property. My family name in this city means a lot to me, and not for any tenant who's gonna, put that in jeopardy. I believe in this man. He works full-time in addition to running the place, Perhaps he needs to allocate more time to be on the property, but I know that he's there to do the right thing. As Sam had said, I'm willing to incur additional expenses to accommodate the property to get that correct number that he should be entitled to. And I understand as well, the number is 65. Roger had come in, he said, well, due to the bathroom constraints, the number should only be 60. So no matter how we slice it, the number 65 is not the correct number. It's perhaps 60, but if I'm allowed to make, alterations to the property and get him what he needs to make a living, to make a go of it, I'm already incurring, pretty severe financial losses because, I can't expect him to pay the note, I can't expect him to pay the rent. He's not making any money, And the bottom line is, I know it's all about public safety, and I'm not asking anybody to bend any rules because I'm all about that. It's all about public safety. I know that you folks have a job to do, you guys have a job to do, and I respect that. We're not asking for some, an absurd number beyond what he should be allowed to have. We just want that correct number to be placed once and for all on the property. And, I know there was it was alluded to at our last meeting in Bob Stillion's office downstairs that when it was Max's Pub, the seating capacity was 65. The occupancy permit was 65, and that may very well have been the case, but we're talking, that was in the 80s, and the place has gone through, that was when the bar existed in the center of the property, okay? Post that, it was located on the right-hand side wall, and as it now is on the left-hand wall, okay? Probably, spatially, it doesn't apply, 65. And perhaps it's partially my fault, partially his fault. We've never had an architect come in and say, this is the number. It's been operated for 20 years with the number 99. I just, I want to do what I can to see, a successful business on my property. Quite honestly, hardly for selfish reasons. I've got financial gain to make here, and, I'm not going to hide that, but I have, you know, I have a good vibe with him. I know what's been done has been done, but I think that this could have all been avoided right from the get-go if that number, that correct number was assessed to the property. And it's never been that, and he can't make a go of it with 65 people.
But with all due respect, your argument is an argument that you need to take up with inspectional services. We do not set occupancy, but we do have to uphold what the occupancy permit states. And the occupancy permit states 65 persons, not just patrons, persons. That's including the employees as well.
Yes.
And there has been blatant disregard for the occupancy number, not one time, but 4 different times. And that just can't happen. And even if their license is not revoked tonight, the bottom line is, if they do reopen, when they reopen, their occupancy is still going to be 65. And that's what you have to live with.
Well,
Until you follow the proper procedures.
Yes.
And
again, I've been working with Roger. I've spoken with him several times over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to do whatever it is I have to do if it's, you know, if it's allowable. I want to try and save his business. He's got a viable, vibrant business. You know, I got to give him a fighting chance. And, you know, that certainly means it's going to cost me a lot of money between, you know, hiring an architect, probably, you know, demoing the bathroom, you know, and not collecting rent and, you know, no payment for the foreseeable future. But I'm willing to take that stake in it. That's why I'm here. And if that's an option,
could you explain to us what happened at your hearing? And
sure,
what
I'd be
the
happy
outcomes?
to. Thank you for hearing from me, committee members. Clint Wilkie, Deputy Building Commissioner for the city. There was a hearing relative to the citations that were issued by the Chief Building Inspector, which was held before Mr. Stillian on the 26th of April. At the conclusion of that hearing, the law department, as well as Attorney Vitale, asked for a period of time to submit written materials to the hearing officer. I know that Attorney Vitale did submit a writing, as did I, on behalf of the Inspectional Division. I actually can't speak to whether or not the law department did provide something in writing. I just wasn't given a copy of that. I did see a copy of Attorney Vitale's. I'm not sure what, if any, decision has been reached by the hearing officer at this time. I can tell this committee that following the last hearing, Mr. Caldani did come upstairs to the Inspectional Services Division, did have a conversation with both the Chief Building Inspector and myself, during which he asked, or reiterated, as he has again this evening, asked that the Inspectional Division reassess the interior of that property because he is utterly convinced that the number 65 is both inaccurate and somehow shouldn't have applied on the nights that these folks were overcrowded. It was explained to him by myself, actually, not by Mr. Ennis, that the current occupancy is based on 2 factors. In the first place, based on the existing bathroom facilities, the occupancy for that structure should be 60, period. However, it is currently at this time 65, not due to any mistake or error by anyone in the Inspectional Division, but rather because that was the prior occupancy of that location, and so it is grandfathered in at that number. So I guess I would just say, in summary, and Madam Chairperson, you largely said exactly what I planned on saying to this committee. It's been argued forwards and backwards and left and right and through that for some reason the number 65 was an inappropriate number, and so the landlord and his tenants were allowed to somehow ignore that or operate it in the way that they allege it had been operated in the past or something of that nature. And I would just say that to the extent that there was any confusion about the appropriate occupancy of that location, I would suggest that that confusion was unambiguously resolved after the first violation. And we are now here addressing what ultimately were 4 violations in, I believe it was a 6-week period. I respectfully suggest that this committee really has no choice, I would argue, than to exercise its authority under Section 14 of the Rules and Regulations to revoke their license. I just, quite frankly, even as we stand here this evening, it seems to me that the entirety of this discussion has centered around how the inspectional division has somehow hamstrung or prevented them from operating the business that they'd like to operate, and for that reason their overcrowding is excused. What I haven't heard really in any of the various hearings about this incident is an explanation for why they were confused as to what the number that was clearly posted on the wall was, how they were sorry about that. What I mostly hear is that it is somehow the fault of the city for interfering with their ability to run the business the way that they wish to. And I frankly think that attitude, to say nothing of the conduct, poses a tremendous danger to the community.
I think that as you pointed out, there are different responsibilities that you have and that the building department has, the hearing officer has, and in fact, I've looked at these issues before with you. There are 3 agencies that can be dealt with, state agencies, okay? The actual notice that's attached to these police reports says that the redress of any grievance is with the automatic sprinkler board, okay? The building code, the 8th edition, some editions are silent on some of these, but the 8th edition of the building code does make distinctions between nightclubs and restaurants. But I understood, and I could have been wrong, okay, that there were 3 methods by which an occupancy could be determined, and I won't bore you too much, but other than the number of exits, okay, the number of bathrooms, and the total square footage. And there's a formula for people standing at a bar, there's a formula for people seated at a table of 4. And it's like basic algebra. It's the goes into rule. You take the 1428, you take the 2 formulas, you plug it in, and you get a number. Now, repeatedly what's said here, and I think what the focus has been by Mr. Calvani and others to try to arrive, because really what this is about, even if these people are put out of business, nobody's going to go back in there unless they get a number, as the landlord says, that's greater than 65 because you can't make a living. And they say it's really 60. And that's about the bathrooms.
So this is an argument that you need to bring before the inspectional services, not here.
No, I understand that, and I said there's 2 different jurisdictions.
That's out of our hands. That's
Right,
totally
but
out of
I
our
think
hands. And I have to say to you, you've had this problem from day one. You should have brought it to the attention of your attorney, and you should have gone back before the inspectional services, and you should have dealt with the problem instead of just totally ignoring it, disregarding what your occupancy was. Not 1 time, but 4 times. I mean, that's just inexcusable.
And I think part of it is that, rightly or wrongly, they really believe because the landlord told them that it was a different number. When the officers went in, they said, gee, we have a number of seats. I mean, they were confused as to
I would say that. I would really respectfully say that we recognize that the property owner, business owner, is got a great, we all know him, he's a business person, and he's honest. And from the get-go, and even to this day, I find that the guys running the business, Victor, and his family are very committed to running a business. I see that it's just lack of business knowledge. He doesn't have any real experience in this business, whereas the assumption, you pay your attorney.
Yeah.
And our guys are there over and over. Really, honestly, when we left that first time, and they were told we're going to have some nice family things down there, painting and music, boy, that's the number 1 thing we would love to see. And we're bickering about this. I really think that they're great people, but I just don't see that the judgment was there the management was very, very lacking. These are the same guys, we weren't trying to set them up. These are easily unavoidable. These are easily avoidable violations within 6 weeks.
So that, I think, going forward, which is what I think Mr. Calvani wanted to do, is I understood that because of the bathrooms, I'm not a plumber, and I said that to them, because they talked about if you take a toilet from here and you put it there's some formula, but even the plumber said that they had a plumber come in and he said, no, that doesn't work because it's like 30, it's like Roger had indicated at one of these, it's like 30 and 30. You got to get it to be 30 and 60, okay? I then said to them, waiting the result of Mr. Stillion's determination that the appeal of that, if you have to appeal it, is not to the state building code people, it's to the sprinkler board. But this, as I learned from them and Roger, is a question now of this architectural barriers where they, even if you were to do it, you can't make it handicapped accessible. I suggested to them, and I'm not an architect, but I read this and said, well, why don't we find out about, and I'm reading, this is right out of the architectural barriers regulations. It says that the installation of a unisex room in lieu of a fully accessible men's and women's room is permitted by 521 CMR. So I said, you could maybe you could do that, and that's like self-help, and you don't need to ask to vary the application of the rule because you can maybe come in under a rule. I haven't gotten an answer with respect to how that goes. But I think, back to your responsibility, I think everybody here, the lieutenant and the owner and these folks understand you have a certain responsibility. The building department has it. Believe it or not, the guy who's really supposed to be enforcing occupancy, as I understand, is the fire chief, okay? But that...
And you better be thankful he's not involved in it right now at this point, because you're already complaining.
Well, no, but they met.
Trust me.
I believe at one point, somebody came down from the fire department, okay? And I have used before, not Chief McDonald, but a prior chief wrote up a questionnaire for people to fill out to help him determine which rule to apply, okay? But that's water over the dam, I understand that. But all I'm urging you is that if the idea is to encourage people to do the right thing, okay? Putting them out of business is going to leave him with no tenant.
Understand this. We aren't putting him out of business. His actions may put him out of business.
But you,
okay? It's not
yeah,
us.
the sword of Damocles that's over their head is really in your control. And if it falls, I think they're gone. And unless he spends money, you can't make the physical building bigger. It's only so many square feet. So as I understand it, back to algebra, is that you've got to change something in the formula, and the only thing that can change is the bathrooms.
But until it's changed, the occupancy is 65, and that is what he has to live with.
I understand that, but he's reporting to you that what he's trying to do to make the number a realistic one for his tenant and for him, and in terms of the expenditure he has to make to get it anything more than 65.
And that's something he needs to discuss with.
But I would also suggest to you that I represent plenty of places, and not many of them have more than 2 bathrooms, and many of them have occupancies greater than 60.
And again, you've got a lawyer that, I mean, will fight for you, but you need to bring it to his attention, not just blatantly disregard what the occupancy was. We wouldn't be here today. All right, anybody else have any other questions?
I wanted to say something before we go into questions, and I always bring this up. So far until now, we've been lucky that nothing has happened there.
Correct.
Like a fire or anything like that. And worse, when things happen, that's when we say, I'm sorry, and we think that we can fix everything by saying, I'm sorry. But we need to move forward with this, and my recommendation is to suspend the license.
As to what the next disciplinary step?
Yeah, you could take it to the maximum, we do 30-day suspension of the license. Just roll all these violations into one.
30-day suspension. But what do you guys have to
Make it be known that the very next violation will result in
the license
revocation.
will have to be yanked. So And that calls into question, do you want to make these renovations?
Well,
Because
again,
the occupancy number will still be 65.
again, I don't think that is
Yeah, so.
our concern. I think that's something that has to be worked out with inspectional services.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is that it would be a 30-day suspension with the understanding any other violations come before this board, your license would be revoked. And you will be living with a 65-person occupancy. And that includes employees until you folks have straightened it out with
Given the opportunity, I'll certainly, exhaust my resources to get my tenant what, he needs. I'll stay in constant contact with Roger and, spend what it takes to keep him there. And I wouldn't spend that money if I didn't think it was for a good reason. I just wouldn't flush money down the toilet. I'm telling you, I'm taking a stake in this guy, and, whatever it takes to get his occupancy to where it needs to be for him to make a living, make a go of it, I'm willing to do it. That's it.
Mr. Bravo, you do understand, right? 65, and that includes you and your employees, okay? That includes everybody. So we have a case of 3 overcrowdings and the 1 after-hour violation. I just wanted to touch upon that, serving liquor after hours.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened that day.
I mean, there was, again, we've talked about how close is after hours. We're gonna, if it's after 1, I'm not gonna tell my guys I've changed my philosophy. It's after 1, it's after 1.
Right.
If it's 5 after 1 or 20 after 1, I'm personally, I
I
understand.
have to tell you,
It
it's
was
a
early.
minute after 1.
But-
We've let you suspend you.
Then just, again, you were new, came in line to work. Please, I hope you can, I wish you good luck. I mean,
Just like slight mitigation, I gotta say, that the next time it came in after 1, what the detective was noted that there was no alcohol. And that their explanation for that one is that it was a DJ.
Was that the same night?
Yeah, I think it was the same.
Walking out with alcohol instead of having it in the bar after 1?
The DJ, as I understood it, the DJ had people come in and move the speakers and whatever, and that's the count that I think one of the detectives got of 13 people, but those are people who came in and were taking the equipment out.
No equipment left. No, those 5 people that came in had nothing to do with the equipment. You can say that all you want. No one walked out with any speakers.
I'm just reporting what I was told. I wasn't.
They were there.
all right, I just want to make it very clear that these violations stand on their own. The after hours was written up by myself, and I was with the detective on 2 of those other issues. Their violations, you had an opportunity to pick them apart. We stood up and we talked in front of the board. Those are clear violations. For the record, I don't want them diminished, period. I mean, that's our opinion as far as enforcement.
Trust me, they are not being diminished, believe me. They're being upheld, and
I don't want
I
to
think
revoke
we need
anyone's
better.
license. I think this is more than fair.
It's
because
very
we
fair,
have
very
grounds
fair.
to do so
Right.
tonight.
And we could revoke
I don't want to
tonight,
revoke
but
anyone's license.
you did have people stand up and speak on your behalf,
Right,
including the lieutenant, so.
Right, that Mr. Calvani and his father,
Yeah.
upstanding members of this community.
Well,
All
my
right.
man, that's neither here nor there. We need a motion for the 30-day suspension. Jeffrey,
Jeffrey,
quiet, please. A 30-day suspension with the understanding, I want this in the motion too, that any other violations will result in your revocation of your license.
yeah, that's fine, I so move.
I'll make a motion that we do suspend the license for 30 days. Do we need a second motion on that?
Yeah, but I want the stipulation in there that any other violations, yeah.
With the
Will result.
stipulation that any additional,
Mm-hmm.
report from the police, you will lose your license.
But we'll revoke the license. I'll second it.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance, going
Hmm?
that's one.
Say it again?
11:30.
Rollback.
They were under a rollback. Is that
Rollback last time.
We did, it's on.
still on?
It's on. Well, wait a minute, let me check. It-
Every day,
Yeah, okay, because we didn't take it off.
So it's
Yeah.
still going up.
below that, but also, stays right up.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this delegation here, then,
Sam will know to come back and appeal it. Sam will know. Take Jeffrey with you.
I know, please. If you don't have
They do have a right to leave.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Right.
So they'll probably open until that goes out.
Okay,
right.
okay. Yeah, then we'll, yeah. let 'em-
Put it back to them.
Exactly. And Sam, trust me, Sam will be in the court of court so fast. Okay, and then we have,
How are you?
Good, yourself?
Good. Sorry about all that theater.
Objected to that.
I was just glad I wasn't on the other end of it.
Yeah.
okay. All right, so, well, this isn't a good one either, assault and battery, serious bodily injury. And I think what we're mainly upset about, is that your staff didn't handle it correctly. Nobody called the police. I mean, this is like,
Well, I think that we handled it as best as we could considering the circumstances. We had 5 people on, one person actually left at 11:30. It was late, it was closing up, 3 bartenders, myself on staff. There was apparently some pushing going on at the pool table. Ricky Nelson immediately got the individuals outside. I wasn't even aware of the situation. I was over in the bowling alley just cleaning up, getting ready. I went right outside with them. There was some pushing, shoving going on out there. I yelled to my bar manager, Renata, who was right at the door, to call the police. Somebody said that the police had been called. Somebody blurted out, I don't know who it was. Within a few minutes, the police were there. All the parties involved had taken off when we said call the police. And it wasn't until the next morning that we were aware that, at least I was aware, that somebody was actually assaulted. The police were called. If what was all said and done, if the police didn't show up, I would have called. We've always called the police whenever there was an incident down there. We've had very, very minimal incidents down there in the 17 years that I've been a manager in there. You know, we deal with everything that happens in there all the time. You know,
I would say this, the question of whether calling the police is just a stupid thing. We always want to make sure that the staff calls.
No,
I recognize,
and I understand that.
I recognize that.
In my defense, you know, we don't have these problems very often.
Right.
And the thought to, oh geez, I gotta go down a certain protocol when this happens, it's not something that...
Pretty short protocol to make sure.
No, I understand
And I
that.
think the bar staff did handle the situation. I mean, it popped inside, there was an assault, it was quick, and then went outside. I mean, the attack of the actual assault was serious, right? I don't know that the bar staff could have done much differently from that, because I don't read in here that that person was overserved or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm saying there was a problem at the bar. I think there were several reports written on this incident, including some of the, I did not speak to those. You know, after the incident, it wasn't reported. We didn't find out that the actual incident occurred until the next day when the victim came forward. Then the case was assigned and the detectives started looking into it. They may have gotten some inconsistent answers or some question on answers. In any event, a search warrant was written and we got video. The video there was no video because the equipment wasn't working, it was broken. So, I mean, that's really the end of it. The person's been charged, and really what happened was, I think when the detectives went down there, they may have found that the story didn't exactly match to the extent of where the assault occurred and stuff like that. So that's included in there. But the main thing was, there aren't many problems. If you're calling the police and we're getting down there and we're able to do the, because frankly, the victim wants, if a conviction in court, I mean, this is serious assault, so anytime video is always real important to us. It wasn't working. For whatever reason, we wanted to make sure, and we did that search warrant. But there was really nothing else to it.
But why did you do a search warrant?
Because we were told that the video didn't exist.
Okay.
Just to be sure,
Okay.
and not to be second guessed in court, we did a search warrant. It wasn't broken.
And as I told you, if you just came out and asked, I would have
I
handed it over to
did,
you.
and I understand, but to be prudent, when it came to court, standing in front of that judge, he would have said, Lieutenant, did you ask for the video? Yes, they said it didn't exist. Well, it would have been, it was proper that I take the next step
I see.
and even confirm that it didn't exist. So
Okay.
that's all that was about.
All right.
That's all that was about.
Thank you for that.
So that's-
Yep, okay.
I'd like to add one other thing too. Lieutenant stated that there were a couple inconsistencies with what Renata, my band manager, stated. She was in the process of cleaning up. At the end of the night, she wasn't paying attention to what was going on. Ricky Nelson, who I believe was the one that stated to you that it happened inside, is the one that saw it, attacked it, got him right outside. Renata never saw what went on. So when she was asked that question, she couldn't say that it happened in the building because she didn't see the initial
All right, so
I didn't read, I'm not,
you
I
have
didn't read into
spoken
the
with Renata about that though,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, just make sure.
Yeah, I
You
mean-
didn't see it, say you didn't see it, don't.
Yeah, and I'd like to
Yeah.
just tell the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if I had video, that video would have been in their hands immediately because there's no reason in my mind that I'm gonna protect some
Okay.
jerk for a better term.
All right.
Is the video working? I'm sorry.
It is not, they just got it back. You know, I have no excuse other than, you know, the system that I have, it's an older system. It's an extremely expensive system. I paid about $10,000 for that recorder. You even stated, I don't think you've ever seen anything like that before. It's been made available to the Lynn Police Department on numerous occasions for stuff that's not even related to me, Lynn lumber getting broken into, stuff like that. It went down right around Christmas, and I really don't know when because I didn't know that it wasn't on. I realized it wasn't on, and end of the year, license fees, a lot of stuff going on. It just got pushed to the back burner. I'm not going to replace it with the system that I had before, but I am going to get something in there, and you know, it's going to get done in a timely manner.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you know, we have to pick and choose our battles with the business, you know, and.
Madam Chairman, I move that the record show that violation did occur, but that no disciplinary action be taken at this time.
I'm not sure.
Specify what the actual violation, they're not calling the police.
Regulations say
Yeah.
do not call the police, so make sure you beat that in those employees.
No, well, you know,
anytime there's
I'm
an issue
gonna,
with
I
this.
mean, you know, hopefully we don't have another incident.
Right, I know you guys are down here far and
I
few.
got you.
I don't think I've been here.
Right, I've probably seen you, this is the second time I've seen you in 4 years, you know? Oh, dear.
All right, so,
I mean, yeah, again, it's an incident.
Yeah.
It's not in their control.
Right.
At points, all right? So,
you're saying it wasn't under their,
no, I'm saying we've had assaults in many bars. I
Yes.
understand, I get it. I didn't see anything in these reports that specifically identified problems with the staff.
That's what I'm saying.
Except for maybe some questions, when Renata said this or said that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, the guys who are investigating, they get a conflict, they're going, what?
But
Yeah.
she's not gonna say
Yeah.
she saw something that she thinks.
Okay, so accept the files?
yeah, that's it.
Accept the
Just for the
files.
files, without finding.
Quick question. Well, no, I guess you answered it. I didn't call them. I mean, you know,
Right.
I guess it's that simple. It's that
Okay,
simple.
thank you, so make sure,
Okay, all
even
right,
if somebody says
so
that
that's
they
not
call.
going on your record,
call.
we're just accepting this for the files.
Just make sure you call, even if somebody says they've been called, call, pick it up and call.
Oh, I
No, they
made a
did
motion
show
to
Yeah,
up.
make a
accept the
motion to
files.
accept the files.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, you're here for, what is it?
What's the name of the business?
38 Bennett Street.
Okay.
Yeah,
Come on down.
a little late. You almost missed us. Oh, you upstairs? Oh, our meeting's better down here.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man.
Okay, 38 and Grill Restaurant.
Yeah.
On Bennett Street, Ramon and Pedro.
Yeah, Ramon is coming.
Ramon, you're Pedro?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of restaurant?
Grill?
Grill? What will you be cooking?
I think it's grill, everything.
Everything?
Yeah, I think so.
American, in Spanish?
American, Spanish.
Yeah, okay. All right. 60 seats, huh?
60 seats, yes. Yeah.
60 personas.
What days are you open? It just says the hours. I didn't see
Yeah.
particular.
What days?
What day open?
Mm-hmm.
Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday, closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Right?
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
All right?
You sure?
¿Tú estás
Entonces, o los 7 días.
Pero que sabes, ¿cierto?
Mejor cerrarlo el lunes. Los 7 days.
7 days?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Remember that.
Sunday through,
That means you have to be open 7 days.
you have to be open.
No puede ser.
You can't decide like, you know.
No, 7 days.
7 days, okay.
7 days you can't close.
And you're gonna do 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day? Sunday too?
We have 7 to 11.
You're gonna be doing breakfast?
Los domingos se pueden abrir un poco más tarde.
Sí, un poco más tarde.
Yeah, 11 to
On Sunday?
11, yeah, Sunday.
Sunday 11 a.m.
Yeah,
to-
7,
Los otros días de 7
de 7 a 11.
Okay.
7 to 11 on Sunday?
Monday to Saturday,
Okay.
7 to 11, and
Sunday.
Sunday 11, 11.
11,
11 a.m.
Okay,
11.
yeah, okay, all right. All right, that's good. That's good. But no alcohol, no beer, no wine, no malt? No.
No, you don't have a license.
Okay, you don't have a
It
license.
says no right there.
Right,
Yeah.
that has wine and malt, that's why I was asking. Okay, so no alcohol.
Does he plan on it? Because
Was it only 60 people?
Yeah, 60.
Six.
But Mr. Galvani, they won't be able to survive.
gonna serve food.
Sorry, I have allergies.
All right,
I was on my best behavior tonight.
You were?
I want that noted for the record.
it's not over yet, it's not over yet. Okay, all right. Anybody have any other questions?
No, everything looks fine, just fine.
Yep. All right, then you
I'll
make a motion.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Are you gonna work there?
So, para aplicarle para la vino y cerveza.
Debbie, yeah. Debbie, what is he? What does he have to do? That's good.
Thursday, you can pick it up.
Took the license up. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, 22.
All right, then we have our communications. Everybody get a chance to read through the
Good
communications?
communications.
Letter from the Knights of Columbus, okay? All right, email from the fire department regarding West North Road, notice from the ABCC regarding a hearing on Central Liquors. Jeez, again. All right, so we'll let you and a special permit approval for Ari's. And that came from city council, right?
That came from city
Okay,
council.
yeah. So they have to come before us, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a special permit.
It's a special permit that says they're allowed to apply for a wine malt license as a social club.
When I spoke with him, the owner-manager before, he said he has no intention of doing that. Obviously, he is. And, okay,
So I'm just letting you, and he hasn't filed it.
obviously, that's what he's going to do.
No.
Is this about the Lopez that was on?
Well, we'll just have to deal, social club or no social club. There's certain rules and regulations that they have to follow, and I'll tell you one thing, there's smoking up there.
What else? I don't-
Thank you.
I think there's an
I
exception
know.
for that in the law.
Huh? I don't think so. I don't think so. Alright.
Work is now done, that's why.
Alright, so then we have our weekly police reports.
Monthly police reports.
Trust me.
That's why there's so many.
Yeah.
We have Sullivan's Liquor for an arrest I made down there. There was a minor sitting out front drinking from an open container. He was arrested. He also had warrants for his arrest. I don't believe the store. Those people have been very cooperative. They put up no trespass signs.
Yeah.
We just tried to watch that. We have Lynn Liquor Mart. They're mentioned in a credit card fraud, some stolen credit card activity. The only thing I questioned was, and it's not specific in the report, the woman was able to call up, order $91 of alcohol, and then with the stolen credit card.
Correct.
And then somebody showed up a few hours later,
Pick it up.
and I don't know that any real identification was made. It says, at least it wasn't captured on video.
And it wasn't?
Well, the actual identity of the person that may have showed an ID or something was not captured. So that wasn't available, although, you know, if they're taking orders over the phone, I hope they're using due diligence. Same thing with the green tea that rolls right into the green tea. The same card was used down there to purchase food. It's before you because it was a licensed business establishment. I don't know what else they could have done. There was a heroin overdose at O'Brien's or outside of O'Brien's in the parking lot. The follow-up investigation by the detectives showed that people came there. A guy from Salem comes down, meets up and perhaps met up with a dealer in that area and used heroin, used an opiate right there. So I don't think it had anything to do with the bar, I must say. I'm going through them all quick. You all go with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Bruno's?
Oh, did I skip Bruno's?
Yeah.
There's our boy Gerard is back at Bruno's making
Yeah,
threats to
threats.
everybody. He's making threats specifically to the owner. I don't know that any charges are coming from that, but it's the person who gave them management trouble down there before. They took care of it by getting rid of him. He's been back a couple of times making threats. Okay. So they reported it, they made the report, you know, they've been cooperative, the staff has been relatively cooperative. Where are we next?
4 Winds.
I'm going out of order. But 4 Winds was the pedestrian accident involving Gator. The reports are, this is an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
I have no information to bring before you that specifically speaks to anything to do with the business.
Right.
I can't say anything about it.
That's all.
Yeah, when I went Roby's before you got hit, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
fine. Yeah.
And the last is the Dragon Inn. They were here for that last one. There's one more, 2 reports because the detectives write one on the patrol, it's the other one. Just another one, customer's in there, having dinner, she goes in the bathroom, uses an opiate.
Yeah.
I know there's not a lot they can do about it, but we had
And that was
that
a customer, so.
It was a customer, because I went there for.
Okay.
Did you say the Boston Street Cafe?
Yeah.
The Boston Street Cafe, I think, might be just a detective follow-up of the,
Heroin.
the same incident, the overdose.
Yeah.
It's happening.
All right, and then, no new business, thank you thank you so much. Nope. Dragon, and that was the last one. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then there's no new business, but old business. Tonight we can wrap up our rules and regulations.
I want all your feedback by Friday.
That's right.
How many people have got 300 seating at the Lynn Auditorium?
All you have to do is-
Capital Bridge.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay?
All right.
All you have to do, if there's any changes that you want in, you call me.
So fine with this, that's fine, just fine.
I just have one question for the police officers. When you drive by Bruno's, they have a big sign out promoting different specials that they have certain nights, but one night of the week, they have a ladies' night, where I guess the meals are like a half price or something for ladies. And they can't do that, right? Yeah. You just, yeah. I mean, it's a big sign, it's a big sign. So, we will give them an opportunity to get it down. Thank you.
Okay, so any changes, any questions?
By Friday.
By Friday.
Okay.
All right, everybody get that?
Go to print.
So
Are they
they,
going to?
we'll be regulated. All right, so meeting adjourned, always in the right.